What's up, YouTube? So I watched the Cenk Ben Shapiro debate at Politicon yesterday, and I was going to make a video about it yesterday, but I actually just forgot. And I have to say, I was surprised. I was surprised to find myself agreeing with both of them throughout most of it. I didn't agree with Cenk's abuse of the crowd. I can't believe he condescended the crowd like that. Like, hey, if you're stupid, don't make it obvious. And it's just like, whoa, Cenk, who do you think you are, man? Fucking hell. And bigging up the Young Turks viewership. It's like, we're getting larger every day. And it's just like, I mean, it's been covered in multiple YouTube videos by different people. You can literally just go on their analytics and see that, like, their trends are, like, going down. So it's just hilarious. I mean, maybe he means in different ways, I don't know, but it's just kind of funny, in my opinion. But yeah, no, I found myself, like, the reason why Cenk surprised me in this debate is because he was the only one out of the two that ever spoke about any kind of balance between things. In, like, the kind of... Oh, God, I should put that on silent. Between the left and right spectrums. And, you know, Cenk a lot of the time is pretty bloody far left. And, you know, I'm not really a fan of the Young Turks or anything like that. But, you know, from what I know of him, like, he seems to be pretty left-leaning, like, pretty far. And, you know, this guy, like, he came out and he actually said, when he started talking about the balance and stuff between, like, you know, when it comes to taxes, when it comes to who they want in the White House, etc., etc. Honestly, I found it, I found it nice to hear someone saying something like that from any side of the political spectrum. I found that nice to hear, and a lot of the time I found that the debate itself, the contents of what they were talking about, they were just going back and forth with ideas. They weren't really proving each other wrong or right. It was just a back and forth of things. I mean, occasionally either one would get flustered or whatever, and, you know, but generally speaking, it was, how do I put it? Like, it was, it cemented to me the thing that I was talking about labels, about how we need to kind of get rid of it. The whole time I was watching it, I just couldn't stop thinking about how if they just didn't care about the political leanings that they've decided they so desperately need to cling on to, like fucking, I don't know, like the new religion, like, you know, fucking socialism's the new Christ, or whatever the fuck it is, or, you know, conservatism is the new fucking, I don't know, Hare Krishna, the new fucking Buddha. It just, to me, it was just, if they didn't care about that so much, then these two people might actually be able to make some progress, and maybe actually be able to make some very critical contributions to the world, whether it be through literature or commentary, like social commentary, whatever it is. Like, I would, instead of watching reading or watching Ben Shapiro's stuff, or the Young Turks, I would be way more interested in watching a new show with both of them on it. Honestly, I would be interested. I'd be more interested in that, especially if Cenk, because he was on his own there as well, and yeah, he was definitely being arrogant as fuck, but he wasn't being quite. He was kind of showing Ben Shapiro some margin of respect. There was definitely. I think he knew that, like, Ben Shapiro, if he tried to tangle with him too much, Ben Shapiro would take him down in a second. That guy, his wit is, like, off the scale. Like, he's crazy wit. And it would have just been a fucking massacre. if Ben Shapiro got his like lyrical his lyrical stylings all over him. He would have fucking bukkakied the little shit. But yeah, it was just I just couldn't help but feel that like it was such a shame that they had to divide themselves with political affiliations rather than just caring about the ideas enough that they could work together. And if Cenk showed that kind of level of respect on some kind of news show together with him, where they debate ideas, debate news stories, debate shit about Trump. I mean, like with Shapiro, like he does bits where he's like good Trump, bad Trump, and all that shit. So he's not even like 100% on Trump. In fact, he's kind of against Trump most of the time. But he is also very conservative. I mean, but yeah, I just found it really interesting because both of these people as well, by the way, Ben Shapiro is someone who I actually I agree with a fair amount on a lot of different things. Not everything. I don't agree with him on abortion at all. I'm pretty pro-abortion. I know that he says it's killing kids, and for me, I'm just like, yeah, sure, think about it like that if you want, but as far as I'm concerned, they're kind of cells. And also, to be fair, when it comes to abortion, even let's say, for instance, say they even are children, obviously completely not developed, no brains, no nothing, but let's just say for the principle side of it that they are children because they could develop into children. Then I just say I don't care, honestly, because I'm for euthanasia, by the way. So, if I'm old, if I'm dying, if I'm incontinent, if I'm sitting around in my old shit, not knowing who my family is anymore, I kind of want to be put out of my misery, to be honest. I don't really want to have to live in that situation. And if a kid's going to be born to parents who don't love them, a kid's going to be born into a shitty household, shitty situation, etc., etc., I would rather the child just not be born at all, basically. Avert as much suffering as possible. Obviously, the better choice is I don't look favourably upon abortion. By the way, people who get abortions, I like to think get them for valid reasons, not just because it just suits me. I don't really care about getting pregnant. I'm just gonna fucking get it hoovered out whenever it needs me. You know what I mean? Got my own abortion fucking machine at home. Like, fuck the pill. I'll just fucking suck it out. Like, Yeah, no, I don't like it to go that far because I think that is kind of abusing. I think childbirth and I think giving life to something, whatever, it is kind. I feel cheesy saying it, but it is kind of a sacred thing, and I think it's a very important thing, and I don't think it should be taken lightly to, just, fuck around with it like that. And I think generally speaking, I don't think people do. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I don't work in like a place where they do abortions or whatever, but I just don't really think that is the case. I think generally speaking, there is usually a valid reason. There probably is a small percentage of people who do abuse it. I don't doubt that, but honestly, to me, that's a small price to pay for people to be able to, kind of either not ruin their lives or not ruin a child's life. So, that's how I think about it, and I think about and to me, that's a similar standpoint to euthanasia in a lot, in that respect. So that's why I feel that way. Call me right or wrong for that. I don't really care, to be honest with you. Again, I think I respect Ben Shapiro's opinion that he thinks abortion is wrong, but that's up to him and his family to do. I think the government should offer the choice for it to be there, or at least allow private practices to do it or something like that. Maybe the government doesn't have to sanction it, but like, at least there should be some option for it in society. It shouldn't be an illegal practice, essentially, in my opinion. So, back to the debate, sorry. Yeah, with Cenk, I don't agree with him on a lot of things either, really. I mean, it's weird, because I found myself agreeing with certain parts of what they were saying about the tax thing. The tax thing, Cenk was talking about how there needs to be some kind of restructure with like a higher tax rate or something. I don't really agree with that, but I do agree with the thought of a tax not a redistribution. I mean like a revamping of the tax system. Here in the UK, it's obviously a bit different to how it is in the US. And in fact, the Trump tax plan that I saw, I don't know if it's been put into place yet or not. I don't think it has been. But the plan for it being put into place looked very much like a British, how we do it in Britain. A little bit better than how we do it in Britain, actually, to be honest. But yeah, it looked very similar. And with tax breaks for the very poor, essentially, earning under $25,000, I think it was. They didn't have to pay any tax at all, apparently. There's a similar thing here in Britain where if you earn under something like £11,000 a year, you don't have to pay tax, basically. But if you do go over that limit, so every month it's something like over £960 a month or something like that, roughly. If you earn that amount, like 960, then you get taxed 20%. So, if say for instance one month you earn £950, well you walk out with £950. The next month you do a little bit of overtime, and then you come out with £960 or something. Then you get taxed 20%. So you're left with like £700 for the rest of the month to pay your bills and your rent and everything else. So it's a pretty fucked up system, in my opinion. I don't actually like that. I think it would be better to have a tax system where you're already taxed no matter what. I think there should be a 10% tax rate for any income up to a certain threshold. Maybe a mathematician could work this out. But like a good threshold where then you can bump it up to something else like 30%, where the hit is not as critical, because then you get because there's loads of low pay workers out there, right? And whether you're earning £200 a month or if you're earning £1,000 a month, there's thousands upon thousands, if not millions upon millions of people who are just not paying tax at the moment. They're paying VAT and whatever. Instead, just tax them a small amount, and then we're getting loads of fucking revenue from that, loads of input, and it's not even actually costing them that much. It's just 10%. So if you earn £1,000 in a month, that's what, £100. So you still got £900 left after tax. Whereas at the moment, if you earn £1,000, then it's 20%. So you're essentially carrying people who are not having to pay tax, and you're coming out with less money. You're coming out with £800 instead. I'd rather be reduced to 10% and everyone pay it. So even if you earn £200 a month, because you're working part-time or whatever, you're a mum or something, then you'll just have to pay 20 quid. And there's your roads, there's your fucking hospitals, there's your fucking schools and everything. You know what I mean? Like, I think, it sounds good on paper to say, well, we won't burden you with any tax if you're earning under a certain amount. But I think that is stupid. I honestly think that it would be much better to just tax a small amount and then bump it up at a reasonable pay grade, where then you bump it up to say 25% when you're hitting £125,000, I don't know, or some other thing. I don't know, because I don't know what are I don't know the numbers of people who work certain pay brackets, so you'd kind of have to work it in that. So you have to work it out in some kind of ratio of when to put that percent, when to put that marker in. It can't just be arbitrary. You can't just go, we'll just make it that. But I'm not that person to do that. I'm not a mathematician, but I'm just saying. Sorry, I'm a bit gassy. I was just trying to do the quiet, polite burps there. Maybe that's the British in me. But yeah, so there's not much more I want to say about the debate. I know I just kind of ranted about tax and abortion there, but I just watched it, and I just wanted to say that I was kind of impressed by Cenk offering the opinion of balance. Although, honestly, I'm not sure how genuine it is, but at least he fucking said it, and I like that was put out there in the debate, And I've never really heard Ben Shapiro offer that. He's never offered some kind of meeting in the middle, as far as I'm aware. Although I don't know if he would ever be opposed to it. I don't know really, but he's a pretty smart guy, and he seems, empathetic enough. I don't know really. It's hard to say, but yeah, I just thought it was interesting, and if you haven't seen it, you should go watch it. It was an interesting little debate. It's only like an hour long or something. And if you don't know who Ben Shapiro is, get onto Ben Shapiro. He's pretty interesting. Cenk Uygur, what can I say about him? I mean, check him out if you really want to. I wouldn't actually really recommend it. He's actually pretty boring most of the time, and he tells jokes that are just fucking awful. More awful than my jokes, and that's saying something. So yeah, thanks very much for watching. Do the things that give me erections, and I'll do something for you too. Sure. Alright, see you later. Have a good night.